my name is Mimmis Cleeren and I run a marketing consultancy firm called SUNMICO. I'm here today with my consultancy colleague called Pernilla Brouzell. This is the second episode in a series that talk about how you build sustainable business growth through the 4 P's of sustainable growth. And today's episode will focus on how you balance the long and the short. So let's get started. So what do we mean by balancing the long and the short? I would like to just quickly start off by mentioning the growth journey that we talked about in the first episode. And very briefly, it's about making sure that you know where your company is at today and where you need to go in the future in order to devise the proper marketing strategies and activities that will take you through the different growth stages and maturity stages of the company.
So based on where you are in your scale-up phase, for example?
Yes, yeah. Exactly. It also is about making sure that your marketing strategy is tied back to the overall company strategy of where you're envisioning that your company is going in the future and what you want to be known for in the marketplace. So obviously you need to break down the corporate company strategy to relevant marketing activities along this journey.
Short and long term, that's what it's a struggle always in the operation to deliver short term, but then still have the long term perspective. Because you don't want to be reactive all the time. You want to be proactive and in control of what you do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of time, the short term, a lot of time comes down to generate sales, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I would say about the marketing strategy, to remember that we do have a business strategy as well that we start with. And then you need kind of to adapt. So the market strategy needs to fulfill both the long-term business perspective, which we have in the business plan, mm-hmm. and also the short-term in terms of generating the sales and the short-term profit that we need, because we would need the both of them.
Well, when you talk about short-term and generating sales, actually I think we need to remember that the sales cycles in B2B are typically quite long and complex. So it's not an easy task to generate sales revenue. I think it's really important here that we balance the long-term brand building activities and the short-term kind of sales activation activities. In B2B, you typically talk about the 95-5 rule, which is...
95-5?
Yeah, it means that at any given point in time, mm-hmm. About 95% of your prospects or your client base or your prospective client base are not yet ready to buy. But they will be ready to buy or will consider buying something that you have to offer sometime in the future. Mm-hmm. It could be 6 months from now or 3 years from now. You don't know yet. But and only 5% are actually ready to buy. So if you were to then focus all of your activities on short-term sales activation type of activities, which is typically performance marketing, conversion, trying to generate leads, mm-hmm. and whatnot, before you have actually generated brand awareness for your company and trust in your company, you won't even get considered. So that's one thing that's important to remember, I think, the complex sales cycle.
Yeah. And what you say here was that only 5% is of the market, or of your potential market. Yes. Only 5% of your potential market are ready to buy.
Yes.
But that makes me, because all the advertising and marketing you see in the last couple of years, I would say is so sales driven. There's something here all the time. Yes. We need to have more sales driven activities. Mm-hmm. So what with this 95-5, what you say is that one is only targeting the 5%.
Yes.
So I guess what we see now also is because, I mean, there was a long time ago we saw some really brand awareness marketing which go deeper, which is actually the one that is targeting the 95%. And we talked about the last episode, we talked about also the buying process, which is more on digital, and the customers don't want to talk to sales or don't want to talk to a company until very, very late in the buying process.
Yeah, there's going back to that, there's actually a very good book called The Long and the Short, which has been written by Les Binet and Peter Field in 2012 or something like that. It has a lot of kind of good data in it, but also it shows and proves research that they have done under many years of conducting marketing campaigns in the marketplace and analyzing marketing campaigns. And it shows that the effect of, if you only focus on what you described now, the short-term kind of performance-driven tactics, and you envision that, oh, I don't have to build brand awareness or spend budget on brand, I just need to do sales activation tactics. If you do those and in combination, only those, and the sum of those will not mean that you build brand over time. However, long-term brand building type of campaigns will actually help generate sales uplifts as well and generate sales in the short term. So the interesting thing is that they pointed out that the long-term brand building activities, which is a lot about creating memory links, so that once your target audience becomes the 5% that are ready to buy, they will then remember your company and have favorable views of or perception of it, and so that you become one of the shortlisted companies that they are ready to assess once they are ready to buy. So it's crucial to then not only focus on these short-term sales activities because people will not yet have heard about you. So you need to have a balance between constantly doing long-term brand awareness activities, and then you can complement that with short-term sales activation campaigns that are targeting those in 5% in the market then that are actually ready to buy and have heard about you before. If you try to skip the step of building and raising brand awareness, you won't even get considered, as you say, because then people won't have heard about you, so then you're not in the race altogether. So this is the crucial kind of balancing act between long-term and short-term, and I think there's a fair amount of education that needs to go in to educating leadership teams, but also sales teams and others in the organization about the need to do brand building and brand awareness, and not only focus on performance marketing and somehow try to think that you can shortcut and the brand awareness stage and jump already to generating leads and getting sales in, because that won't happen if you haven't done the other part.
I mean, I can totally relate to that also when you talk about customer experience. A lot of people, all companies say we need to have customer focus, we need to be customer centric, but it's not that many companies that really want to invest in it. And it's the same thing. We need to focus on the sales. We can't afford to do that investment in time or money in long-term customer relations. But it's the same here. If you don't invest in them now and you don't care about your customers, why would they stay? And also about brand building, because nowadays most people, as you say, the 95%, they do the research by themselves, searching, and most of all they talk to colleagues or you talk to someone else just to think for yourself, going to a restaurant for a nice dinner. I mean, you want to be really certain that it's a good restaurant with good food and a good experience, friendly and service-minded waitresses.
Yes.
So if you don't have the experience yourself of a really good restaurant, you're probably going to ask your friends or your colleagues where to go, or you heard someone talk about something, a great experience they had. So that also goes for business to business decisions even more. The more complex a decision is, the more you go by your heart and feeling.
Yeah. A lot of people get surprised when they hear that, because especially a lot of tech companies, they have the perception somehow, or think that it's the rational aspects and the technology and the the amazing features and whatever that's important in order to build trust in the marketplace. But they fail to realize that the customer journey starts long before you're sitting there assessing different technologies or platforms or products or whatever. It starts with emotions first. So the long term is about brand awareness and using emotional aspects to create memory links, so that once you're ready to buy, when you become the 5% that are ready to buy, you then can back up the purchasing decision with the rational factors, which is the more short-term sales activation mechanisms and campaigns that you should be running.
Exactly. And if you look at from the customer point of view, we talked about customer experience, customer focus.
Yes.
I would say the long term and at the same time the short term is to focus not only on the new, but also on the existing customers that you do have. Because over 80% of your future income and business will be on your existing customer base. So invest in them, in all contacts, with all the products, be on top of them, because they are the one who's going to do the cross sales and buy more and buy again. So the long-term perspective is not to look at what profit will you get from one customer the first year, but rather how long can we continue to sell, to do the sales for them? Can we keep them for 20 years? Then it's easy to see that the investment is worth it.
Right.
I would say.
But to just quickly summarize what you've said now, to create a really customer-centric organization, you need to balance attracting new customers with actually taking care of the ones that you've already got. Because,
I mean, you want to have a long, good, healthy relation with your customers for a long time. Short-term sales, either is to new customers or existing customers, that can always come in, but you want them to continue to be customers for a long time to get that to really maximize the customer lifetime value, I would say, to keep them for a long time. And also to be back to what we talked about before, building the brand. Let your customers be the one who talks about you on the market in a positive way, spreading the word about you in a good way. That will also help you to build that long-term brand of yours, which actually have that connection, because it is people we do business with. We can't forget that. We do business with people, and people, we are not rational. We're irrational, we think with our hearts, and that one you can't buy. You can't buy someone's heart. You need to
earn that
trust and build that for a long period of time.
You make a good point. There's actually also research that substantiates what you're saying.
It's not just me.
No, research in communications has shown that people make their purchasing decisions based on emotions. So the emotional attachment they feel to a brand and that they remember. And then they justify their purchase decision with trying to find rational factors that support their emotional decision. So this means that you need to have messaging that supports both emotional and rational factors, and you use them in different parts of the buying journey.
So what you're saying, the study says, is that I want to justify my irrational purchase with some facts afterwards.
Yes, even in B2B, you make the purchasing decision based on emotions first, and then you try to justify it by finding rational facts.
That is so interesting. I mean, and I guess that what triggers different people in the hearts and in the minds. Can't we talk more about this?
Absolutely, and we're going to do that in the next episode. How do you capture the hearts and minds of your audiences? So stay tuned. If you like this episode, like, share, and subscribe. And see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.